Did you know the newly upgraded Tesla Model 3 is available for pre-order? Just not in the UK or the US.
Oh, not cool. Not cool!
Relax, it's coming for us very, very shortly. That does not mean that this video is not for you. In fact, the opposite. You need to know well in advance what 2024 Tesla Model 3 trim you want to buy. Why is that then, Adam? Well, the word on the street, aka via X, is that demand in those countries where you can pre-order this fully revamped new Tesla Model 3, like China, is already receiving a lot of heat. I mean, instant interest where hard data can be found in pure consumer search interest has boomed in recent weeks. This made me think, if you've made your mind up that you want this refreshed 2024 Tesla Model 3, do you know which trim that you'll buy today? Because as soon as the pre-orders go live in your country, do you want to hit buy and be first in line? Or are you planning to do your research and comparison after the pre-orders go live, which is code for I want to be at the back of the line?
They just sold out.
Already?
There is plenty of information available today on these trims if you know where to find it. Therefore, I've done my best to cram a damn good comparison on the differences between the refreshed Model 3 rear-wheel drive and the refreshed Model 3 long range, from range and charging speeds and how that will affect you, all to where there will be minor material differences like the door trims. This is effectively my 10-minute-ish super user-friendly comparison on which new Tesla Model 3 trim you should buy and why. So before I kickstart the video, I'd appreciate if you could just drop the video a cheeky like, subscribe and hit the notification bell, as it really just helps me out. Right, let's get into it. Starting with potentially the biggest and most important difference, the range and charging speed differences in the 2024 variants, where and why it doesn't matter in every scenario.
Wait, what?
Now, you're probably thinking, why did you just say that, Adam? The practical differences will make sense in just a second. Onto the base Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive. You'll be pleased to hear that it delivers a whopping 513 kilometers or 319 miles WLTP range. The range increase for the new Model 3 comes exclusively from efficiency upgrades, which means this Model 3 still has the same LFP battery pack as before.
Well, that's good news, right?
What that means for you is this battery pack can be charged to 100% more regularly, with less impact to the battery's health/performance. So it's more user-friendly, you could say. LFP batteries are notoriously good for allowing a high number of charging cycles with limited fears around degradation. This effectively means even in the years to come, at 100% stated charge, you should still be incredibly close to its original rated range. The biggest downside of the LFP battery pack is that its peak charging speed is limited to 170 kilowatts. But we'll compare the practicalities of that after we've looked at the long range's range and charging speed specs. The refreshed long range Model 3 will be able to drive a massive 391 WLTP miles or 629 kilometers. Again, this boost came from the aero efficiency changes from the car design and not an upgraded battery pack.
It's magic.
Day to day, you'll be advised to charge it to between 80 or 90% for everyday driving, unless you know that you need to use the full 100% of the pack, for which you can fully utilize it when you need it. Therefore, at 100%, you will gain another 72 miles of range with the long range Model 3. But there is that little bit more battery care in mind over the rear-wheel drive Model 3 when it comes to charging the vehicle. The charging speed is also much higher at 250 kilowatts, therefore reaching and maintaining high charging speeds are possible thanks to its larger battery pack. So in practical terms, what does this all mean and which vehicle is going to be more suited to who, when and where, just on range and charging speed alone? Well, you'll be pleased to know that the Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive trim will be suited for most people. With a total usable range of 319 miles, it trumps the average US daily mileage of 36 miles a day. In fact, it's agile enough to deal with daily trips and the occasional road trip with ease. Don't be of the mindset that this is just suited as a city car only. It can still very much handle road trips. Where the true difference between the long-range Model 3 will be felt is how often you'll be completing round trips over 319 miles. This is where the extra range of the long range, but most importantly, that extra charging speed will be felt most. Personally, I don't complete over 300 miles and road trips often, which is why I only supercharge just a handful of times over a course of the year. So the estimated £5,200 or $6,400 US difference in cost is just not worth it for me. I may save like an hour's worth of charging time over the course of a year, for example, so I naturally just prefer the cost saving side. Therefore, you need to do that same analysis for your circumstance. Does the amount of road trips over 320 miles warrant the longer drives and quicker charging stops of the long range? For most people, that simply isn't the case, but for business users that do, the all-wheel drive long range Model 3 is better than ever. Moving to the exterior and interior changes, the single and only difference you'll notice to the naked eye for the exterior of the vehicle is simply a badge on the back of the Model 3 stating that it's a dual motor. Literally, there's no other difference from ground clearance to the looks of the car to the naked eye at least. Therefore, externally, all the colour choices from the new stealth grey to my new joint favourite, the ultra red colour, is available on both vehicles. Even the alloy choices is the same. Effectively, they look the same unless you look from behind. Even the interior, which has been fully revamped with the new ventilated seats, rear display and blind spot indicator. Everything I mentioned in my reveal video, which is marked on the screen, is in the 2024 Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive trim, apart from two key differences. The first being the sound system upgrade for opting for the long-range Model 3 is more prevalent than ever. Dual amplifiers and dual subwoofers and a total of 17 speakers, compared to 9 speakers and an amplifier in the rear-wheel drive trim. The only other difference that I did notice is the door trim looks to have a different material between the rear-wheel drive and the long-range variant. If you opt for the optional white interior, that difference does look to be mitigated, but it definitely looks like the long-range Model 3 gets some premium-like material on the black door trim at least. Otherwise, there is very little difference between the two here. So before we head to the conclusion, there are some other differences that you should be aware about that don't necessarily fit to the previous segments of the video. The first being the long range trim is a dual motor variant, therefore it will be more refined to drive in wintry conditions than the rear wheel drive Model 3. Plus there is a sizable increase in the acceleration speed in the long range Model 3 for those speed demons. Tesla also provides a more favourable warranty period for the long range Model 3 battery and motor. The general warranty still looks the same at 4 years and 50,000 miles, but the battery and motor warranty provided by Tesla embeds an extra 20,000 miles for the long-range variant over the rear-wheel drive allowance of 8 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first. Therefore, having the long-range Model 3 does enable you to rack up more mileage within the 8-year period and still be within your warranty. I know some of you prefer the extra comfort of warranty, so whilst it's a boring topic, it is a noteworthy difference at least. The final and most obvious difference, even though we did touch on it earlier, is the price difference between the trims. Now, this will differ from country to country, and at present in Australia, I've worked it out to be roughly £5,200 or $6,400 difference between both trims, which takes us very nicely to the conclusion. So to conclude, which Tesla Model 3 is better for you? The 2024 Tesla Model 3 long range or the 2024 Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive? Well, I can't make that decision for you, but the difference between both trims is much less than the legacy Model 3s. Effectively, for an estimated difference of £5,200, you will gain 72 more miles of range, faster charging speed, dual motor driving, a better sound system, different door material in the black trim only, extra mileage allowance for the battery and motor warranty. The question for you then becomes, does that extra warrant the £5,200 upgrade? Or do you spend that on a paint option and upgrading to a white interior? The difference between both trims has submerged more than ever before, to the point where they might as well have just made the sound system standard across both trims and then having the only difference being the range and charging speed for a smaller price point. That's just my 2 cents in the difference. I very much think that the standard Tesla Model 3 will be more than ideal for most people, with those who crave nothing but premium sound or drivers that complete round trips of over 320 miles frequently are more naturally suited to the Tesla Model 3 long range. Ultimately, the choice is yours. So did today's video help at all? What are you leaning to? Would you accept a higher price point for an upgraded sound system? Let me know in the comment section below. I want to hear any opinion that you have on this. Also, if you got this far in the video and you want to let me know you got this far, you can drop me the comment, Adam help me pick, and I'll give you a cheeky thumbs up for the support. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe and share it with your friends and anyone else that may find the video beneficial. You folks have been great and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.